Good evening, everybody. I hope you are all well. I'm just checking out the camera and checking that we are working okay. As you can tell, we are not in the usual studio tonight. We're in my podcasting studio / office. There is a long, complicated reason for it. Basically, my wife's had to go out. Roxy, my puppy, isn't being herself. So I just want to be in here so that I'm ready for her. So just to let everybody know, I think I've still brought the gardening in here. We've still got the logo, that's this side, and we've still got the grow lights also this side. So we're still relating it back to the gardening. So what we're going to be doing today, I've got quite a few videos and photos to go through that have been sent in because we are discussing or sharing what everyone's plot looks like at the beginning of spring. Yes, we are in spring. Before that, we'll go through what I've been up to over this last week. But first, let's see if anybody is actually out there. So first of all, Ballycillian, good evening to you. Hope you are well. Oracle is out there. Good evening to you. Hope you are well. Philly SPB, good evening to you. Hope you are well. Rebecca, evening. Nice to see it's still light at this time. Isn't it just? Only just though. Still just starting to set, but it is nice to see a bit of sunshine. Anna Jones has joined. Good evening to you. Hope you are well. Ballycillian, yes, great to see the daylight lengthen indeed. Kate has joined. Good evening to you. Laura W, good evening to you. Hope you are well. Not just Green Fingers UK blog. Good evening to you. Welcome to the show. Turbo Stream. Good evening, Veg Army from a light Birmingham. Good evening to you. So let's get started. Don't forget to give this show a thumbs up, a like, get the algorithm working so more people might find us and come along and join in. It's looking a little bit quiet out there tonight. I'm guessing because it's the lighter evenings, everyone's out there has decided to go and join and go stay on their gardens and stay on their allotments for just a little bit longer. Don't blame you. Now, what have I been up to this week? So we've been sowing a few more seeds. What I've actually done out in my podding shed where you usually find me, I've got myself a whiteboard and I'm now starting to jot down all the tasks that I need to tackle each week and tick them off as I go. So set that up nice and easy. I do like whiteboards. I've whiteboards all over the place. Well, I've sown a load of seeds: tomatoes, cucumbers, Brussels sprouts, some oregano, some parsley, some coriander, just getting all those things ready to go and started off in this growing season. And they will end up in these grow lights right behind me. What else have we been doing? Yesterday, I spent a bit of time in the garden. I've emptied out some compost from my wormery and my sub pod, hoed a few of the beds, clearing down the soil, and even tried to get the lawnmower out to mow the lawn. Basically, just getting ourselves, I think keep saying this, getting ourselves ready for this growing season. It's well upon us. However, today I went down the allotment, but I have had a bit of bad news about the allotment, and a few people have. Well, our allotment site has a Facebook group. I should explain this, and it's quite good. If your allotment site doesn't have a Facebook group, I highly recommend it. Some people often just sort of say, "Oh, I've got this going for free," or can I get this from, etc., etc. But over the last few evenings, some people have spotted some children down on our allotment with crowbars, and they've been smashing up sheds and greenhouses, causing a lot of damage. So I was alerted to that. We had to go down to the allotment today anyway, checked on things. Let's just say they've made a bit of a mess. They've made a bit of a mess. Tried breaking into my little shed, broke the lock on it. They'd have thrown loads of rubbish everywhere, but just being little oiks. There's worse things going on in the world, is something I keep saying to myself, but it is annoying. It is very, very annoying what's going on. I had a bit of a tidy up. I planted out some more onions and planted out some more garlic. I think that kind of sums up what I've been up to this weekend. What about you? What have you been up to this weekend? Let's have a look. So Turbo Stream is saying sound and vision much better in the studio tonight. I've got to admit, because I'm using my camera that I use as a video on, that's probably why the video is a lot better, the image wise. It's my normal studio. I've set that up so I can just turn it on and go live. This is a bit more of a, I've got to set it up in advance and think about it more. So, and I wouldn't feel happy leaving this camera out in the shed all the time. So that's why it's slightly better. But I got to admit, I do like the image. It does look a lot better on this screen. I might try it one day, actually. Try taking this out to the shed and see how we get on. Ian Meadows has joined. Evening, Veg Army. Good evening to you. Digwell, late to muster. Hi, all. Good evening to you. Stuart Jackson, evening, Richard and the Veg Army. Good evening to you. Ian Meadows says, loving the flat cap, very Lancashire. It's because my hair is a complete and utter mess. So you quite often see me wearing flat hat caps nowadays because they seem to suit me. Idaho Garden Girl, good evening to you. Somebody in the Facebook group is joined and saying hello. The way Facebook groups sometimes work, I cannot always see who you are. You have to give permission to allow StreamYard to see who you are. But if you could just enter your name at the end of a message, then I know who I'm talking to as well. Just makes it a little bit easier. Idaho Garden Girl says, I didn't do any gardening yesterday. Maybe today I will get some seeds sown. Good. Terrible when vandalizing others' property. It is absolutely terrible. There are worse things going on in the world, though. I've got to say, I'm trying to be a bit optimistic about it, not let it get to me. Was Bill and Val's plot okay? I believe so. When I drove past, it did look okay. Bill and Val have an allotment YouTube channel, and they share my allotment site. Les looked okay, I've got to say, but you don't know. You don't know. Sorry about the damage. It's awful. It's part of allotmenteering, dare I say it. Vandalism and theft happens in allotments. As bad as it is, I just feel it's part of what goes on. 2 hours of seed sowing yesterday and a good day tidying up the garden. It was such a mess from the winter, from Rebecca Hawkins. Yes, I've got to admit, the winter has taken its toll on myself. I don't feel like I'm as far down the road or anywhere near as tidy as I could be compared to how I've been in previous years. But it has been a pretty difficult winter, to be fair. It's been pretty cold. And, well, as I said on Monday's podcast, now the evenings are getting lighter. Roxy and I are going down the allotment a lot more often. This week I sowed carrots and lettuce, pricked out the veg cauliflower seedlings, and mowed the home lawn. The plot is still very wet, so not too many jobs done here. Yeah, wet is just always going to be a bit of a problem. Anna Jones, this weekend I've been dividing and replanting large clumps of perennials, giving the lawn a light mow and lots of weeding. Yeah, I think weeding is going to be something we've all got to get on top of again. It's starting to certainly jump into life. Me have that. I've been sowing some seeds, aubergine, celery, but to be honest, I'm nervous because the last time I posted on a Facebook group that I had sown beans, I got absolutely jumped all over saying I'm sowing too early. So I'm scared to sow things. Right. This is a bugbear of mine, actually. Some people will say it's too early, but nobody really knows what your conditions are like. You've got nothing to, well, you could lose some seeds if you try, but I don't see that being a problem. If you want to try it and it doesn't work, for the next year, it's too early. And reality is, if you've got a greenhouse, you've got plenty of time in which to pot things in the greenhouse, to drag things out. So I don't think it's too early. Beans, depends on what beans they are. Runner beans or French beans might be slightly, but that being said, I know people have sown runner beans and French beans this early before and got away with it. So you never know. You never know. Just never be too scared to sow anything. But what I would say, all the advice is on the back of the package, and don't pay any attention. Not so much. Don't pay attention to what anybody else says. Give it a try. Don't feel bad about it. Turbo Stream, sorry about your vandalism. We these kids could find something more productive to do than trash other people's stuff. I agree. I mean, with what's going on in Ukraine, there is worse stuff going on in the world, but we were all kids once, and although I've never done anything like that as a kid, I'm sure there is things that I've done that were pretty bad as a kid. In fact, I can think of things I did that were pretty bad as a kid. So somebody in Alison Whelan, sorry. I've had a good clear out of the garden this weekend. Lots of seeds planted and seedlings pricked out from Alison. Yes, we've got a photo of that coming up in a little bit. Done loads of potting on this week with veg and flowers. Fantastic. Keeping yourself busy. Ian Meadows, does anyone know if I'm allowed to bring seedlings and cuttings back from Spain? Plenty of info online about food, though not on plants. I'm going to say that it's unlikely you can because of the EU rules. Same as we can't take stuff over to Ireland. That's what I would say. But I shouldn't say this. Who's going to know what's in your baggage in some ways unless they open it up and have a look? Yeah. Digwell's been sowing brassicas, spinach, beetroot, turnips, and a few determinate tomatoes. He's been very, very busy as well. Idaho. Oh, Rebecca, that's awesome. You got so many seeds sown. Indeed. I'd say you garden however you wish. It's your garden, so you do it the way you want to. The worst that can happen is things don't work. Just move on. Totally agree with that. I completely agree with that. I think this is in reply to Kate's message earlier about being jumped on for sowing seeds too early. No such thing. You know, you try. It's experimentation. So we try all these things out and see what happens. Way to go at Digwell, and very excited from Not Just Green Fingers UK blog. Very excited as I put up a new polytunnel on my plot today. Excellent. Great weather to put a polytunnel up as well. Polytunnels of greenhouses are just awesome. They just open up so many things. Right. So the first video I want to share with you today is actually one of my allotment that I shot today. It's not so much a tour. Well, it is a tour, but it's from the drone. Now, we're just coming over to my allotment. You can see just how much of a mess that these kids have made of my allotment. There's stuff that was neat and tidy thrown all over the place. Let's bring the camera down. Now, on this pile of wood was stacked up neatly. They've thrown it all over the road, so I had to move it quickly out the way. We're flying over, leeks growing down there, garlic, onions, tomatoes, my greenhouse on the right, a few smashed panes of glass. This is the top half of my plot as well before you reach my neighbour's plot. As you can see, bits of metal thrown all over the place, doors broken into, wheelbarrow turned on its side. A lot of just stuff thrown here, there, and everywhere that wasn't where it should be. Even branches and things like that, and just a complete mess. It's going to take a bit of tidying up to get into a decent state, to say the least. So yeah, that's just an aerial view, which is coming down to my shed. As my shed, this is one that was particularly damaged by the people. Is going to be. There we go. That was my quick plot tour. I hope to do a longer one, but these kids have just took up my time, shall we say? As you can see, quite a bit of mess that just left and thrown all over the place. Not good at all. So that was what's going on my allotment. As I said, I don't feel I'm where I should be either. I should be further down the line, but I'm going to make up for it over the coming weeks. So Turbo Streamer said, I am holding off sowing any more seeds till April. I have enough to be getting on with. Fair enough. Kate Spratt, I'm so excited that my first polytunnel arrived. It was what I asked for as a wedding anniversary present. Oh, how times change. Potting up next weekend. Yes. It is amazing how when you start allotmenteering and gardening that all of a sudden these things start bringing much thing. You get excited about the weirdest things, don't you? Yeah. Digwell, yes, you can. So this is for Ian Beddoes about bringing seeds and seedlings in. Yes, you can. The rules are from EU countries, you're allowed a max of 5 plants. You are allowed to bring 1 bouquet of restricted cut flowers up to 50 stems. There you go, Ian. Digwell has found the answer for you. Scandalous, shocking indeed. I think that's talking about what. And Digwell's also said, Nightmare Richard, police informed they may step up patrols, etc. Yes, the police have been informed. They've asked every single allotment holder that's had damage to call and log it. There's somebody on the allotment who knows the kids. The parents have been told. Most of the parents have sort of said the typical thing, oh, it's not my kids, they're far too good. One of the parents have, shall we say, disciplined their child, and the child is having to come down and tidy things up. But it's only a short way to go, and we don't know if they're going back tonight. We're hoping the police are going to be down there more, but who knows? Who knows? It's just what, like I say, it's what kids do sometimes, and I don't like saying that, but that is it. Stuart Jackson, I've potted on tomatoes, chilies, leeks, and onions. Hopefully, the buyers will be there on Saturday at our first sale. Thanks for everyone's support. So, Stuart Jackson sells a lot of his baby plants off to members of the public in order to support a brain tumour charity, which you'll hear him referring back to how much he's gained for the charity throughout the year. Alison O'Brien has joined. Good evening to you. Now, talking of Stuart Jackson, we have got 2 videos from him. They're quite short, so I'll play one after the other. Let's get on and have a look at these.
Good evening, everybody. Stuart Jackson. Just a sort of my plot tour. This is my veggie pot patch. I've got my boar beans at the end of the clotch with a few onions and some Swiss chard, and then I've got my garlic along there, and then along here will be some boar beans and some peas, and I'm not sure what's going to go there yet. I might put some lettuce out under some clotches, and then go round, and that's my stuff getting ready for sales in my greenhouse. And I go into part 2 of my tour. This is my flower bed that I use for my sales. As you know, I sell a lot of veggies as well, but I split a lot of this stuff and then pot it up and sell it for the charity, the brain tumour charity. Hence lots of strawberries on the thing, on the patio, and along with my recently new purchase, my veggie pod. Fantastic purchase. If you haven't got one, look at getting one, they're brilliant. And then a load of bulbs for sale as well. Thanks very much for watching. Speak to you soon. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Stuart. Obviously, beginning of the year, we're hoping every 3 months we will keep coming back and seeing or how these allotments progress throughout the year. So yeah, that's great start, isn't it? Let's have a quick look at the comments. Kate is saying good luck on the sales, Stuart, as is Alison also saying good luck on the sales, Stuart. Digwell says to Ian, I'll check further if I were you, just in case. Indeed. Rebecca says looking great. And Stuart has also added, I meant to say I was donated some raspberry canes in my veg patch. Fantastic. I do like raspberry. Digwell's also saying, cool, Stuart, good luck with the sales. Indeed, Lee. I tell you what, as Digwell just commented, I think this is, which one is it? No, we'll go through Digwell's video of just one of his plots.
Well, you're right, guys. Here we are, leaf and ground plot. Just going to do a tour of the one plot today. Bloody freezing. I did a bit of weeding yesterday, but I've stopped at the front of these beds here because you can't see it. There's a little trough down there. It's about 3 inches deep with water. So I'm going to leave it. I've done a little bit, but I'm going to leave it and get on with it another day when it's a bit nicer. Right, this bed here, cauliflower Alshmere. Needs to take a few of those leaves off. And celeriac monarch at the far end. Look at this, golden feverfew growing already. Mad, mad. Put some giant Stuttgarter onions in yesterday. Gonna put a cover over them. That's what the sticks are for. The bits of wood at the side, they hold the covers down, and the stones. Did a bit of weeding. What I do with the weeding, I tend to leave the weeds just lying around, rotting down with the roots facing upward if possible. Spare bed there, ready to go. Herba Stella Buckshorn. Now this is like a salady type green. You wouldn't have it all on its own, but it's not too bad in with a few other salad leaves. Now, I wasn't going to grow this again this year, but this has sprung up as a perennial. So, who's to argue with that? Bit of space there. Red Ace and Sabito, beetroot. And there's a few of the weeds lying around. Fennel growing again. That's where the corn was. I'm going to leave those rotting down. There's no point wasting the nutrients. Soft neck garlic and hard neck garlic over there. A few brassicas under here. Hardly worth bothering with. Yeah, they might spring into a bit more life later on, but I'm not sure. That's the bean frame. Needs a bit of composting in there. Got some manure ready. Giant parsley. That's been growing all winter. Been picking that. Looks like I need to cut some of these tops off as well. Starting to bolt if you want. Ooh, a bit of a dumping ground here at the moment. It's on my pea sticks and things. That's my climbing veg frame. Got some things planned for that, like tomatoes, melons, climbing courgettes. Black currants at the end, titania, and I just planted that rhubarb over there. And you can see, look at the clay, look how thick the clay is over here. Really thick and heavy. Spin you around, don't get dizzy. That's the other rhubarb. Oh, there's a dock leaf growing in there, I better get that out. Red currants, planted those a couple of months back. Need to take a few more of these sprouts. I love it how the pigeons take the top of the sprouts, but they leave the sprouts themselves behind. This bed's already ready to go. Beetroot, Zeppo. Very good beetroot. Been picking those all winter. Paris white onions. And a spare bed there. And I think I got a feeling, let me get around here a minute. This is where I did that little trial with the Tesco garlic. Looks like it's not growing. That's where I tipped the spuds out yesterday. I'll stick a little bit of footage of that at the end, but the exposure's all wrong, so I had the blooming camera got stuck in manual. Oh, a couple of brassicas under there. I'll put a description of what they are up there somewhere, and a few more under there. Need to sort these out, need a bit of weeding doing. Yeah, not too bad. Right, more onions, got loads of onions this year. Radar, snowball and electric in there. I think that's chamomile growing at the far end. Elephant garlic, 10 of those. And shallot yellow moon, they were planted last October, I think it was. And I've just taken the last of the leeks out of this bed here. This needs sorting out a little bit. And that's basically it, guys, here. Not a lot of damage with the wind, because there's, like I said, there's no structures here, so anything that happens is toolboxes blow over. Okay, catch you in a bit. Right, just before I pack up and let somebody else have a go, a couple of potato reveals. These are Nicola, 4 in a bucket, sown on the 7th of August. Lovely new potatoes. Well, I've got to say, I'm well impressed with them. I don't care what the weight is. Good time of year for nice new potatoes. God, look at that lot. I hope you can see them. And they weighed in at 1.7 kilos, which is 3 3/4 pounds. And the last bucket of Sarpomera. 2 potatoes in here, sown on the 13th of April last year. What's that, 10.5 months ago? Well, I'm happy with that lot. There's a few slug-eaten ones in there, but they're clean generally. 3 3/4 kilos, 8 1/4 pounds. Lovely.
Well, there we go. That was Digwell's plot tour. I've got to say, what I love is seeing all these herbs that are starting to spring into life. I think he mentioned even the feverfew. I love feverfew. It's one herb that I suffer a lot with headaches. It's brilliant for helping with that. And the spuds as well, the potatoes. You know, that just to me shows that you can have potatoes growing all year round. So fantastic to see. Sorry, Roxy's just starting to bark. She was asleep. Come here, Roxy. Right, let's have a quick look at what everyone is saying in the comments. Hargrave Gas has joined. Good evening to you. Lost track of time. Joining now. Better late than never. Sorry. It's because it's still so light. Well, it's getting dark now, actually, isn't it? Turbo Stream had to miss a few minutes because he had to reboot his computer. You can always catch up afterwards. Ernie has joined. Good evening, Richard. I was out in the garden all weekend. First dry weekend I've had for ages. Your advice on ridding ground elder by digging them out continuously has worked. Thank you so much. You are most welcome. Ground elder is pretty difficult to get rid of. But yeah, I know what you mean about first dry weekends as well. It's been a tough one. Impressive Digwell from Alison Whelan. Awesome video, Steve. Great potato harvest. And Ian Beddoes is loving the spuds. Indeedly. Just have a quick look at the time. We have got how many more videos? Done that one. 3 more videos plus the photos to go through. So I don't want to rush into them just yet. But it seems like a good opportunity to sort of sit back and sort of say, I feel now we're getting into spring. I like to let things get a little bit out of hand over the winter. I try and do what I can over the winter, but I like to let the weeds grow a little bit, some of the bad stuff, because it's somewhere for nature to go and hide in and hibernate over the winter. So I tend to leave things like that for that very reason. But now we're coming into spring. It's all hands on the deck. There's going to be a lot of weeding and a lot of trying to get the allotment and the garden into a good looking state. Now, talking of a garden, we're actually going to be making changes. I feel like we're always making changes. What I was talking to my wife about yesterday is moving the chicken run. At the moment, the chicken run is in the sort of vegetable patch area. I've been trying to make a little meadow area, herb/meadow area to the side of our garden, but it's never really taken. We've got a very hard clay soil, and I think the seeds has just never really got established for that very reason. Hello, Roxy. There you go. So just checking Roxy's eating her stuff. Because of that, what I've decided, I'm going to move our chicken run over to where the meadow area was going to be, and we're going to get one of the big walk-in, or eventually get one of the big walk-in chicken run cages, so that they have more room. They're going to be more protected from Roxy and other predators, and I can have another vegetable bed and grow more vegetables. That's the idea anyway. Just one of those things that we are thinking of changing around in our home garden. Beatrice has joined. Good evening to you. Hope you are well. Kate is asking, Digwell, do you reuse the compost from the potatoes for something else? That's a good question. And Digwell's just about to steam some of those Nicola spuds to go with my roast after this. Oh, Ballycillian says it best. Enjoy. Yeah, I mean, new steamed new potatoes in the beginning of March. Nothing more anybody can say about that. There we go. Dealt with it. I think I've dealt with it anyway. Just to let you know. Yeah, you can't beat. It's the same as getting steamed on new potatoes on Christmas. I'm a roast potato fan on Christmas dinner though, but the ability to be able to get steamed potatoes on Christmas or steamed new potatoes on Christmas dinner does go a lot better. Turbo Stream, I turned out a small bucket of spuds and reused a compost for my carrots this afternoon. Okay, that's one use for carrots. That makes sense because they don't like rich soil, really. Digwell, will the chickens be better covered from the flu? Probably not, because they're going to have a much bigger area. Well, good question. Good question. I like to let our chickens roam around the garden when we're around, and we can keep an eye on them. Cats are particularly a problem, and foxes can be a problem, and obviously Roxy can be a problem. So by keeping them under in their run, and it's easier to cover the top to stop any wild birds pooping in there. So there is that does help protect the chickens from the flu. Anybody that doesn't know, birds are in lockdown at the moment because of a chicken flu epidemic that's going around, bird flu epidemic, sorry. So by giving them a bigger area that's still under, I mean, technically it'll be large enough that to still call them free range. And I still will have them out in the garden from time to time. It's just more a case that it's when Roxy is going to be better behaved around them, shall we say. Although she's pretty good with them. She just likes to play with them, as puppies do. I would say it's probably going to be easier to cover the top to stop birds pooping inside the run is the only thing to prevent the flu. I've read that one. Digwell's replied to Kate, yes, the spent compost all goes on to the no-dig beds. So yeah, that's raises a good point. And what I like to do when I've used up compost that I have in some of my tubs, I might have had trees or something growing in them or carrots or stuff. I do tend to try and use that compost to spread all over the beds as like an extra layer of mulch, particularly around the compost. Asparagus works quite nicely, and carrots also do work quite nicely as well. Right, let's go to another video. I'm trying to think who this one is. I've not made a note. Let's watch it and find out.
Hello, Richard. I think I should explain a wee thing first today because I'm going to do two plot tours. I'm going to do my own here, Ballycillian Allotment Man, and then two plots over, another member of the Veg Growing Army, Philly SPB. We're going to go to his plot. But the way things work between the two plots, I think I should explain a few things first. But you'll catch on as the season goes on, and we're putting more and more videos on. Firstly, all seeds and initial planting on are done in my plot. There's none done in Philly's. Then, as the plants grow on, everything, like of these onions, sweet peas, and here more sweet peas, cabbage, etc., they'll all be transferred over to Philly's plot to finish the growing on stage. Then that will release this bench for a second sowing of various things, and it'll continue for a third sowing, maybe a fourth sowing, depending on the weather and the conditions. The reason being is, when we first got the two plots, grew good veg and all, effort was put in, a lot of work was put in, good veg, good fruit, terrible bit of waste. Don't like wasting your put the effort in. Now I'll give you an example. I just potted these on last week. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 cabbages. I'd have had 14, Philly would have had 14. I'd have planted 14 out, Philly would have planted 14 out. Ready for harvesting time, 28 cabbages. What do you do with 28 cabbages? Total waste. So I'll walk you out this bed and explain the method we use. Right, this will be one of my cabbage beds. So whenever Philly has grew them on, ready to be planted out, will come over here. The tray of cabbages will come over here. Be 2, 4, 6, 8 cabbages. That's it. The rest of them will be giveaway, or anybody that wants them can use them. I like to keep them in the middle because the cabbage white seems to be able to lay its eggs if the leaves touching the netting. So along the back here will be maybe line of Swedes. Along the front here, scallions, lettuce, something like that. And along the two ends, marigolds. That cabbage bed, that's just like that. Now, like I say, a second soil will be in there, potted on, growing, ready to go. And as Philly gives me, wants to plant out, I'll transfer them over to Philly's plat to grow on. Then as they grow on and ready for planting out, they'll not come to me. It'll be an identical bed on Philly's plat, but done this exact same way. The second sowing will come on a lot quicker because they're in better weather. But when these are ready to harvest, as I say, 2, 4, 6, 8. Philly can have 4, we can have 4, no waste. And because they're coming on stronger than the second sowing, we'll go to Philly's bed, again 8 cabbages, and we'll get 4, and Philly can get 4, so there's no waste at all. Right, Richard, we're into the Grace polytunnel here, Linda. There's nothing happening, but just to explain in our way of the way me and Philly work together. Sweet corn will be grown. Linda will plant 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sweet corn plants on this side to get an early crop. All the other sweet corn will be planted outside, but I'll plant none outside. It'll all be planted in Phillies. And again, we can share the harvest. Down this side, Linda will grow her tomatoes. Now, we like the cherry to medium sized tomatoes. Philly likes the beefsteak tomatoes. We would use beefsteak tomatoes, but not a lot of them. So there's no point in me taking up valuable room to grow beefsteaks. So I'll grow the cherry and the medium tomatoes here. Philly will grow the beefsteaks on his plat, and again, sure, no waste. Right, Richard, we're now running Philly SPB's plat, and like I say, as things grow on, they'll be moved around here. Now, for an early crop of strawberries, Philly has them here in his greenhouse. Again, we'll share. Now, along this side, this year, I grew the hot chilies last year, but this year, Philly will grow the hot chilies. There's no point having 8 plants of hot chilies, then 4 covers our 2 families. Again, very, very, very little waste. Right, Richard, now walking in the Philly's patting shed. Great construction, like you've seen before, the wee stove there. Now down this side this year, we'll have Philly's beefsteak tomatoes. Not 100% sure what we're putting in this bed, but we'll have them, I've topped that up with more soil, and we'll have the melons in this bed. Have to give that a wee bit of thought, what I'm putting in here. And we're just going to walk out and just give you a quick view of Philly's beds. Nothing happening, but just to give you the general idea, it's basically the same layout as my own. There's his blueberries there, and his beds ready, his onions, winter sown onions coming on. Basically the same. Just a final wee clip, Richard. This is how we make our comfrey feed. These tubes filled with comfrey leaves, concrete weight, goes in. And then as the juices get compacted, or as the leaves get compacted and the juices run out, it runs into these bottles, and as you can see, they fill up rightly. And that keeps us going in comfrey feed through the year.
Right. There we go. Sorry, it's slightly delayed there. Well, a beautiful and well organised plot. Great to see such tidy organisation and so much plants starting to spring into life. Kate says it's best. Kate says it's well. It's beautifully organised. Got to agree. Great to see. I'm also quite impressed with the comfrey at the end, the comfrey harvesting. I noticed when I was on the allotment earlier today, my comfrey has just started to grow again and started to spring back into life. So I'm going to be starting to try and harvest some comfrey leaves to make our own comfrey tea. Rebecca, these videos have inspired me. I'm going to hurry up out of work and see if I can get an hour in the garden every night this week. Indeed, yes, that's exactly what I'm trying to do more and more now. I think I've said on the podcast, I'll walk down the allotment with Roxy, we'll do a bit in the allotment, and then we'll walk back home. So we're out for a good couple of hours every evening, and it's nice. It's such a nice way to spend an evening. Stuart Jackson, why did my garden look such a muddle compared to everyone else's garden or plot? The videos are great. It's not a competition, and everyone's garden looks great. There's nothing wrong with your garden at all. Digwell, busy. Indeed, it is a very, very busy time. Lovely idea of sharing everything from Alison. Exactly right. I do like the idea of sharing everything as well. Even better if we can share some of the food that we produce at the end of the day with those who are more in need. Idaho, very neat and tidy. Indeed, it was a very neat and tidy plot. I'm very jealous of that. I wish I could be that neat and tidy. I really do. Anna Jones, I like that propagator in the greenhouse. Yes, I've had my eye on that particular type of propagator many times before. I like the way you can just build them up and grow them as they grow. Instead, I've just got this, which is still a pretty good propagator, this one, but it's a little bit lacking in what you can do with it. And I think I've said before, I start my seeds off down below and then move them up as they grow on, right at the very top of the ones that are growing big and getting ready to go out to the greenhouse. Turbo Stream, that plot is one to aspire to, Ballycillian. Whereas Ballycillian and Philly SPB's plot, I believe. I'm very, very jealous of both of those plots. Of just so neat and tidy. Fab plot and great way to do comfrey. Indeed it is. Richard Forbes has joined, the Bald Explorer. Good evening to you. My comfrey and rhubarb are both dead, waiting for warmer weather. It'll come. Rhubarb is pretty difficult to kill, in all honesty. I wish my neighbours were into gardening, very minimal or none. Interesting point there, because my neighbours, it is just checking my windows aren't open before I say this. So my neighbours on that side, their son is actually a landscape gardener. He has his own business. But this week, they've paid another landscape gardener to come in and start redoing their garden, we've noticed. Diggers turning up, load of cement gone down. It's really interesting what's going on there. The whole other story there. I just can't believe that they didn't use their son. Adrian has joined. Hello, buddy. Hope you are well. How we were wondering how you were last week, because we know you were possibly having a pacemaker fitted, if I remember correctly. Just wondered how things were going there. Right, I want to quickly go through some photos that have came in. By the way, I've just added a link if anybody wants to zap themselves in. I haven't got the phone line working today because I'm in this what do you call it, in this studio, not in the other studio. I'm in this one for reasons that I said at the beginning. Busman's holiday. That might be why they didn't use it. But his son's still going to work every day, so it's not really a holiday. Don't know. Adrian says, okay, local hurt going in, an antibiotic reaction. Home same day in a lot of pain. Told not to lift anything heavy in left arm, but okay, equivalent to a bucket of water. I'm right, so I could help feed the animals with a sick wife. Nice to see you back, Adrian. And Adrian also says, since various Facebook forums said upset and over the weekend, feeling lightheaded, hoping not to pull the leads out, life is tedious. You'll be, Adrian, you take it easy, buddy. You know, you've gone for a serious operation. You take it easy, and that's all that matters. Sean James Cameron, having to strongly resist planting my potatoes. Yeah, I've got another week and 2 weeks to go before I plant mine in. Although I'm thinking about it. They certainly look like they need to go in soon, but mine are going to go in just after the 17th. So in 2 weeks' time, I'm going to get my potatoes, which means next week I've got to build the beds ready for them to go in. No 2Jag, 2 studio, Richard. Yes, yeah. Well, you remember when we first started doing these? No, actually, not when we first started. Last year we did the live shows. We had that behind me. That was in this room. I built a shed inside this room for the live streams because it was a bit of fun before I built the main studio that we have outside. But this is just my podcasting studio. We put it like that. I've just quickly set it up because of Roxy. Right, what else have we got going on? Hope you feel better soon, Adrian, from Alison. And Digwell also says to Adrian, take it steady. I have to help sick wife feed animals, no one else here. Adrian, if you were local, I would come up and do it for you. I think, if I remember correctly, you're quite a way away, so I can't. But if you were local, I would come and do it for you, so you didn't have to. Yeah. St. Patrick's Day from Digwell to St. John's. That's the one I always go for, St. Patrick's Day, because I find it a lot easier or a lot more reliable time to remember rather than Easter, as many people would say, to plant their potatoes. 2nd of April for me, Sean, to try and miss the May late frosts in Belfast. So that's a good 2 weeks after I would do it. By my calculations anyway. I'm looking forward to get my potatoes in. I can't work out if I've got enough potatoes to fill the 3 beds up like I normally do, or if I'm going to need to buy more. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. Adrian says, yes, I suspect 2-5. Yeah, I'm in West Sussex, as you know, and I think you're Suffolk, if I remember correctly. And Idaho says, hang in there to Adrian. It will get better over time. Kate says, I'm going for a weekend after St. Patrick's Day for my spuds, despite the chits the size of trees now. I think, if I remember correctly, you messaged me about these. Have they improved since they've gone into light? If I remember correctly, you were trying to chit them in somewhere dark and warm, and now I suggested moving them into somewhere with a bit more light. But St. Patrick's Day I always feel St. Patrick's Day is the best day. We've had this discussion before, and many other people agreed with me on that very question or that subject as well. So St. Patrick's Day is when I'm looking forward to getting my potatoes in. They mostly will be down the allotment. I think I've said time and time again before, the allotment I'm seeing more and more is just becoming where I grow the staples, the stuff that needs the least amount of work, so I can put it in there, not forget about it, but I haven't got to worry about it as much as I worry about my stuff I have at home. What my stuff at home is where I want to grow my stuff that needs a lot more care. That being said, I'm quite enjoying being able to go down the allotment on a nightly basis with Roxy, which does mean I spend more time on the allotment. It swings and roundabouts, but as we get bigger and as I said, we're getting a bigger vegetable patch here at home once the chickens are out of lockdown. More chance to grow more vegetables. Drop your bottom, Sean, and get the bare arse on the soil. If your bum gets warm, it's time. If it's cold, hold off. That's I think I mentioned this the other day, isn't it? It's the old gardener's way of telling if the soil was too cold to sow seeds. If you could stick your bum down naked, and if it was too cold, I'm not going to do it, by the way, so please don't anybody have that image in their minds. But yeah, if it's too cold to sit on the ground, it wasn't comfortable, or it was too early. Not growing as quick now in the light. I did not expect the ones in the dark cupboard to grow bigger chits than the earlies in my windowsill. Yeah, well, the reason, this is what I was discussing with Kate, the reason that they've grown bigger in the dark cupboard is because they're trying to stretch for the light. You want short but stubby chits. I think many people will know this in the audience. Short and stubby chits, somewhere cool, dry, and light. It's very difficult to get it right, though, isn't it? Very difficult to get it right. I often think that the real difficulty in it is keeping it somewhere cool, somewhere that makes a big difference. If it's somewhere too warm, they do grow a lot quicker. Stuart Jackson, my spuds are going in 2 weeks' time as they are ready to go in now. By then, I should have carrots and paper pots ready to go in along with the leeks. Yeah. No, I'm going to get my potatoes out in 2 weeks' time. Hoping my carrots have gone straight into the ground under cloches. Leeks have started to show themselves. You remember we sowed the leeks on the leeks sow along? They've started to show themselves. Ian says, "You're okay, Richard. Ask Roxy." What did I say to that? Sorry, my mind's gone a little bit blank there. Sean, it won't be long and we'll be complaining it's too hot indeed. Sean, are you going to the press media event on Wednesday? If so, I'll see you there. Kate, I'm not sure how my neighbours would feel at the allotment if I got my arse out to check the soil. Exactly. I'm not sure how my neighbours would feel either, but you never know. You never know. Oh, I just realised what Ian meant by ask Roxy, because she often sticks her bottom on the soil naked. Yeah, I think she's okay. She doesn't complain, as far as I'm aware. I don't. I've never heard about sitting on the ground with a bare bum. Yeah, it's. You'll never forget it. Now you've heard it, though, have you? Will you? I am hoping I've not broken something doing too much already. Adrian, you've only got the one life. You've got to take it easy. Please take it easy, my friend. We'll put anybody in Adrian's local area that can help with the animals, and please do get in touch. Stream, my soil is too wet and cold compared to last year. I think we are on for another late spring. Yeah, I think it is going to be a late spring as well. I think you are right with that, but I think we're also going to have a good summer this year. I chip my potatoes on top of our bedroom wardrobe as this is the coolest room in our house. Just very romantic. Indeed, yes. Romance is not dead in their gardener's household, is it? Sean says that Richard Vobes, a bald explorer, likes getting naked in his garden. Yeah, that's a sight you can't get out of the image of your mind once you've seen it, isn't it? Turbo Stream, my links are from the podcast pack are up and away. Also, no March seeds are up. Right, so post is being late for Turbo Stream. They should be on their way. They were posted on Monday, so they should be with you by now. Definitely on the way. If they haven't by next week, let me know and I'll send them again. Post is really getting annoying. Really getting annoying. Rebecca says, whereabouts are you, Adrian? If I remember correctly, it's Suffolk. Oracle says, the bare bum is a wartime thing. Yeah. I thought it was a Victorian thing as well, but I can't remember. I'm not saying to get help, just informing people. No, we know you're not asking for help, Adrian, but we're going to... he says he's in East Anglia. There we go. We know you're not asking for help, Adrian, but if we can help, we will. The trees outside my house have already dropped their blossom and green shoots are coming. Actually, I've noticed that there are a lot of trees in blossom as well, and I thought it was a little bit too early. My peach tree, which is in the greenhouse, is in a real nice blossom, and that normally does that about 2 weeks down the line. But fingers crossed, it'll be... fingers crossed it'll be okay. We'll get some good pollination. The risk if the flowers are out too early, that there's not enough pollinators around to pollinate them. So that's always a risk. The royal veil strikes again, and post is slow to South Wales till seeds usually arrive about a week after posting from Alison. Yeah, it is annoying. I do them first class as well. I've got to set up the business account to send them out to you easier. I would love to help with the animals, but sadly miles away. I know. It's if I was in East Anglia, I would be there in the shop. Royal Mail is behind on all non-express deliveries. I had a post delivery today. Posties on overtime on a Sunday. Wow, on a Sunday, that is unheard of. If I were close, Adrian, I would help you out. All you can do is try and not overdo it. Of course, the animals need care, so I know that's a problem. If anyone takes part in Naked Garden Day, invite them round to test. I'm too old to do it, so I have moved on to the next method. Wait for the rest, start planting and copy. Wait till the rest, start planting and copy. I think that's a good tip as well. Wait till the rest start and then copy. Naked Garden Day isn't Naked Gardening Day, isn't that May? Which isn't all that long away. Yeah, so May, not all that long away. But by May, it's normally warm enough to sit on the soil. Not that I've ever done it. Not that I've ever done that. And it takes 1 or 2 drivers to be off sick and everything is screwed. Just seems like a constant thing at the moment. Kate, I'm still waiting on my card, on a card my sister sent last week. Think it's the same all over. I'm in Nottingham. It will get here, no worries. Yeah. And they are putting up the price of stamps too, aren't they just? Seeds will be here about 10 days after posting around here. Still waiting. P.S. The Naked Garden is about 7 miles from me. The Naked Garden? What's that? What's that? Jenny Hullett has joined. Sorry I'm late. I joined and you were talking about being naked. Yeah, that's one thing to come in on it, isn't it? Just talking about being in the garden naked. I don't worry. When it comes to Naked Gardening Day, I never do it. I would not inflict that on anybody unless a huge amount of money was donated to charity, and it would have to be huge because I wouldn't risk it for anyone. Ian Beddoes, bet you are down the nudist beach every weekend, Richard. Not at all. It's far too cold down there. There's a naked garden. Watch those thorns. That's exactly what I was wondering as well. Stuart, can you tell us more about this naked garden? I'm going to add the link quickly in to the comments. Not V. That should be. Hang on. There we go. That's what we want. I was hitting the wrong buttons. Apologies for that. First of all, we got 2 more videos, but they're part 1 and part 2 of Turbo Stream. So let's get part 1 underway quickly.
Well, this is Turbo Stream's March plot tour. So we're starting from beyond the back of the shed this time, and you'll see that the committee have now put a sharing bench right beyond my shed, which to be honest is good for me because there used to be to the right, just on this bend, because I'm on the corner of the main path. So we've got a path there, and as we pan round, that's another path there. You can see I'm right on the junction. So here there used to be a bench, but it was always a pain to trim. And also behind the shed there was a load of brambles and stuff, so that needs it off. It means that I can pull the sharing bench forward and maintain the shed easier. This is the next area to tackle. This was a mess before, so under the sheeting I'm trying to keep the soil dry so I can tidy that up. I've got a bit of rubbish to take care of. I've got the the bottle cage things, aren't they? Little bottle crates. And there's also a load of stuff in the compost bin. I've used it as a bit of a dumping ground, just having it blown away, so that'll have to get sorted out. So I need to go to the tip at some point. And this is the first square we come to by the shed, and this is going to be the flower and mixed border. So the last time I was down here, I planted some, what's that? That's a hardy fuchsia, and behind that is a hardy geranium, which I'd overwintered. And I've top dressed it, I've weeded it. There's a few shrubs in there. So hopefully in the spring, this will come to life. I've got a parsnip there, which I want to save for seed, but I've got a few tulips coming through. So gradually, this square will become flowers and various things. So I've got a fair bit of work to do. It's still really not done much from last year. So that's the flower square. And then the next square we've got is the main, I'd say the main vegetable growing area I've got. So along the front here, I've got some cabbages to put in, and I've got these things are made out of pallet, these sections, which may come up, I'm not sure yet. So I'm just tidying them up ready for the spring. This area here were where the parsnips were, so I've just lightly forked over the top surface of the soil and I've mulched it with the compost I made from last year. So that'll probably get divided into 3 lengths, and then a bit of the front is I'm going to put a path down just to make it easy to gain this part of the plot. As you come round, we can see the cabbages there. Those will just put in as a last resort, really. And then this little area, I think it's going to be my seedbed. I'm going to try a seedbed this year. I know I've said this before. So I need to top dress this with some compost and then cover it, just so the soil dries out and warms up. That's another job I need to do ready for April. So I've made a cover for this piece of wood here, this square. I've got a plastic cover, and I've also made another one which will go next to it. So I think that'll be my seed area. So I need to work on this a little bit. And then I've got a few leeks that are stragglers from last year. Behind there were broad beans, so that'll get tidied up soon, in this couple of weeks. And then that'll hopefully be another area for maybe broad beans or onions or whatever, I don't know. Probably not on this section, I've grown leeks, haven't I? Maybe parsnips down there. I've not grown parsnips on that bit before.
I'm muting the microphone. There we go. That was the first part of Turbo Stream's allotment plot tour. We'll play the next part in about 10 minutes time, so stick around for that, please. On that note, if you are enjoying this, please do give us a thumbs up, a like, a follow, what else is it? Subscribe, click the bell notification to know when we go live, and all that jazz. I know most of you have already done that, but if you haven't, please do go and do that. Right, a few comments came in during that little piece. So Stuart Jackson said, the naked garden is Abbey House Garden, Malmesbury. Very famous. They've even been on Gardener's World. Stuart, you've been on the Bearded Gardeners Rodeo show, so you know, don't go blow an air trumpet. I'll have to visit. I was going to say I have to visit that place, but then I'm thinking the Naked Garden. Am I going to be in for a shock? Oracle has been there a few times. We are not having a get together there. Okay, we are not having a get together there. No, that is very, very true. Digwell's asking Turbo Stream who mows the grass paths, and he says the chairman Digwell, it's his favourite pastime. Up on our allotment, we have to mow our grass paths, although the council do come around once or twice a year and do it themselves. Gotta admit, I quite like mowing the grass areas though, because I get more mulches for my allotment, so I don't mind doing it myself. Ian's asking Turbo Stream if it's part of an Anderson shelter that we saw at the beginning in his compost heap, which he says it is. Digwell says the spammers are out in force tonight. Yep, I've seen that. Don't worry. But do you have the rest? I have been known to do a 1940s reenacting. We'll find out on that. Alison O'Brien is asking Richard Phobes, are you enjoying your dinner? Anna Jones says Turbo Stream's plot is looking great. It is indeed. The gardens have changed hands in the last few months, so I don't know if they are going to carry on with cloth optional days in the summer. Interesting. Beatrice says it looks great, Turbo Stream. The rest is in part 2, Ian. It's been there since the war finished, I think. All these plots look great tonight. They do, don't they? It certainly inspires you to go just crack on and get stuff done when you see this sort of thing. That plot looks good. And Turbo Stream says it's very rusty now, the Anderson shelter. Yeah, this is what I love when we see other people's plots. It does inspire you and kicks you up the butt in some ways to go out and just get on with the stuff that you need to get on with. I think one of the biggest problems that I often have is that there's always something that gets in the way. And I know I'm not a neat and tidy person. That's not an excuse, though, is it? It's just not an excuse. I've just got to get on and do it. I've just got to tidy things up and cannot come up with reasons why I can't do it. The chairman mows just the main paths around the allotment unless a plot holder pays him for allotment funds. Indeed, indeed. Why do it? Oh, right. A plot holder pays him to mow their allotment. Gotcha. That threw me for a minute there. The plot looks fab from Kate, and Ida Hoges says, yes, very inspiring. The good thing is, spring, now we're in spring, it's certainly going to be a lot easier to get out into the garden more. I'm hoping the worst of the bad weather has gone and that's it. Certainly don't want any more wind. Certainly would like a bit of warmth and sunnier weather. Fingers crossed that is going to happen from now on in. I'm keeping both my fingers crossed because it's great for wishing. Set your timer, Richard, and just do 30 minutes. Soon adds up. Absolutely, I totally agree with that, and that's exactly what I said on the podcast. What I would, before I got Roxy, what I would do is go to the allotment every night, just 20 minutes, just do a bit of weeding, bit of watering, and pretty soon everything was tidy and sorted. And that's what I'm going to continue doing. Obviously, with Roxy, it gives me a reason, or I've got a reason to get out of the house more and go down to the allotment. I'm still not that neat and tidy person, but I'm going to do it. Try and do it. My aim this year is to keep the plot tidy. Last year, I let it run away with me after I was ill last summer. Easy to happen. You know, things get in the way, and yeah, I think I said at the beginning of this year, actually, our household is on a massive, let's just get rid of crap. And we're clearing things out room by room. In fact, today we had to empty out our living room. We've got work going on in our house at the same time. We had to empty out our living room. And we were even getting rid of bookshelves and things like that we don't need anymore because, well, while we hold on to it, if we don't need it, it just becomes somewhere to store more rubbish. Turbo Stream says, thanks for all the kind comments. You are most welcome. 30 quid to fill the lawnmower, so it's turning garden into a wild meadow. Electric lawnmower is the way forward. I've got to say, since I moved on to buying my electric lawnmowers, I mean, my electric batteries power everything, be it my lawnmowers, my chainsaws, my drills, my sanders. Because they power everything, I've always got the batteries and I've always got several of them. So much easier than petrol. I haven't looked back. I've got to get rid of them. Well, I'm getting rid of my petrol lawnmowers all in all because I just don't need them anymore. Electric, battery powered is the way to go. Do a little and do it often. In fact, that's the phrase that I use and have said even on the podcast. Do a little and do it often. 30 minutes and I lose myself for a few hours. That is true, though, isn't it? It does. You can pop down for 30 minutes and it soon turns into an hour. I mean, my other thing with my allotment, if I say I'm going to go down there for 20 minutes, it does turn into a lot longer because by the time I've opened the gate and driven through and got to my allotment, that's probably 10 minutes gone already. And then I've got to do the same on the way out. But yeah, 30 minutes turns into hours. Love seeing these plots. I'm a newbie and always looking for ideas. I only have a paved garden, so everything is in pots, Alison. Yes, we're going to be talking about growing in pots in a couple of weeks' time. So I'm looking forward to trying it out. Richard, believe it or not, I tend to lose weight whenever I've been gardening. Is this the same for you? My problem is that when I put on a lot of weight, I'm losing weight at the moment because I'm walking Roxy and going out on walks a lot more, and that's really helping me to lose weight. I've got to say. Before that, although I'm quite fit and I'm always working and on my feet all during the day, carrying tools to and from site, etc., etc. I'm not a person that sits behind a desk all the time, although I do a lot of driving. My trouble is I overeat. And because I'm growing my own food, I tend to overeat a lot more. So when I was kickboxing, I ate a lot, but I had the energy to burn off then because I was exercising twice a day in order to carry out the kickboxing. So gardening, I do believe, can help you lose weight, but it just doesn't work for me. Digwell says battery is everything here too, and I used to have a battery mower which has headlights on it, so you can mow in the dark. Yeah, our Hoover has a torch on it, so you can hoover in the dark as well. I like the squares. It means I can concentrate on one bit at each visit rather than getting overwhelmed with a big plot. That's also something I find. I would watch Sean a lot from Oracle, and I must say the ant has landed on his feet with his new plot and looks so happy. I'm sure you will wish me, and it's all saying good luck, Sean. Good luck, Sean, indeed. Adrian, I've not cut my lawn for 10 years. Just let the sheep on there. A good idea indeed. Stuart has a quick question. Why does time go so fast when you are gardening? I find myself in the garden all day when I only went out for an hour. It's because you want to spend more time and you enjoy it. I do agree with you. Time does fly. Right, let's get on with part 2 of Turbo Stream's plot.
And alongside it, you've seen it before, this is my soft fruit area which I'm making. So gooseberries down here. I've got a black currant, some more gooseberries. The brassicas will come out. We've got a rhubarb section there, and we've got some strawberries in the top corner. So gradually over the next couple of years I shall populate this with soft fruit with cuttings. I've got some cuttings actually. Let's see those. And along here I took some cuttings. You can see this little row of cuttings I took. Just there. That one is taken because I've got some shoots coming out of there, so that's alright. I think that's a gooseberry. I think that's a red currant next to it, which I can see little signs of growth. So I should probably leave them until the autumn. I think you're supposed to leave them until the autumn, aren't you? So there's a few cuttings I took last year, so hopefully they're gonna go. I'll have to see. I think the red currant's at the back, I'm not sure. And as we come around, these rhubarb crowns are moved, so I'm going to leave them for this year, let them establish. Unfortunately the ground is absolutely saturated, so we just need some dry weather now. And this is the other square I've got. I think I've got one square too many really. I could almost put this to something, maybe I could, I don't know. But along there's a row of raspberries. I grew brassicas here the year before last, so maybe this might be the brassica bed again. We'll see. This area is mine too, so my plot goes from the edge of this bin. This is a compost bin which has got leaf mould in it. All the prunings I took off the red currant need chopping up, so that's another job. And then you can see the bike, there's a tumbler composter which is used as storage. And then there's the shed. And then we come round. So I've got a fair bit of area. Let's have a swing around to the left. It's a fair bit of area to look at. There's me there. And you can see we've got quite a nice drop, back drop. We're back onto a public park. So, and that faces north that way, south behind me, east to my right and west to the left. So the sunset is kind of over there somewhere in the summer. Right, that is Turbo Stream's plot tour for March.
Fantastic. Great lot of food right at the end. Lovely plot as well. Everyone is talking about, let's have a quick look. So Anna Jones says a push mower fan here. Very good exercise. I can believe that. I've got 2 push lawn mowers in our garage, which we're getting rid of. I tried using them. It's just too hard on our allotment to even try and use. So, but I can believe they are, you know, I think if you can use them, they are great. I trim my paths on the other plot as it's too rough to mow properly. I can understand that as well. You're right, Richard. Battery and electric is the way forward. I'll be ditching the petrol. I certainly find battery is the best way to go forward. Mower soon. Yes, yet another great video. This is a great idea, looking at each other's plots. Great plot. Well, yes, obviously every 3 months. So the next time we do this will be April, May, 1st of June, beginning of the summer. We're going to be doing this, show us your plots. But of course, all throughout the year, if you want to show your plots, then please do. Ballycillian says great views. I need to get on and trim the grass now. I'm interested from Rebecca. Do any of you guys with plots grow at home as well, or just on your plots? I can only say that I grow on my home plot as well as my allotment, because I grow too much, if I'm honest. Jenny Hallett, I'm about to buy a push mower. My son can earn his pocket money. Good idea. Good idea. What about the grow along? What, the leek grow along? We're going to be doing grow alongs as well. Don't forget. We've got the leeks, and we're going to be doing. I can't remember what we're doing. Have I forgotten something? Oracle, have I forgotten something? Remind me. Home as well from Digwell. Rebecca, I tried at home, but my garden faces north and there's far too many slugs. I've just realised I haven't shared the photos. So let's have a quick look at the photos as well. Let me get rid of that, and I'm going to go for that because why not? So viewers photo. Now, Kate, who is in the audience tonight, this is what her allotment looks like when she took it on. I don't know how long she had it, but I've just seen she's only just got her plot. And this is what it looks like now. Transformed quite quickly. A lot of hard work has gone into it. It looks fantastic, doesn't it? Alison's windowsill is full of all these seedlings, like many of our windowsills, I'm sure. These seedlings are just building and building and building. Stuart Jackson, who is also in the audience as well, he's potted on his aubergines. Those aubergines look fantastic, really fantastic. Steve has made a new dibber out of Lego. Love this idea. Haven't got any Lego to make it with, but love this idea. Now, Ian Meadows has repaired his greenhouse after the storm damage, as well as his veggie pod. And as you can see, his greenhouse is looking in ship shape and sparkly fashion again. And already I can see there's a lot of things going on in there as well. And finally, Ian Meadows humour. It's me 5 minutes after sowing some seeds. Germinated yet? What about now? Indeed, that's something I find myself looking at quite often. Now, please do keep sharing your photos in the Veg Grower Podcast Facebook group, or you can send them to me in any other way, email or any other social media. My email address is richard@theveggrowerpodcast.co.uk, where you can find me on social media as well. Just search for the Veg Grower Podcast. So Kate has said, I've only just got my plot, but have been growing at home and will carry on starting things off at home. This is exactly how I do it. Don't have a back garden, just an area for a clothesline. Yes, so I would still be trying to fill any area with plants, knowing me. Rebecca, I only grow at home, would love a plot, but honestly, my garden is full-time. And I think Rebecca's garden is beautiful. She sent us a photo last year. I'm hoping she has an Instagram channel. Absolutely beautiful garden. So it's stunning. That's all I can say. Ian Bennett says, well, Kate, as does Digwell. Great stuff. Lovely plot, Kate. Oh, cool. We were going to all plant something at the same time and see which place grows the quickest. Oh, of course we were. Yes, we should do that for quite soon, actually. I'll make a note of that for next week to talk about. Well done, Kate. Jenny Hullett, handed my plot back as so many unattended around us. It was a battle I couldn't win. Bits and bobs kept disappearing and people have themselves to my plums, applied for a new plot on another site. That's annoying when people have themselves to stuff on your plot, isn't it? No need for it. That Lego dibber is a dig what's it's dig well. Indeed. Growing everything at home now. Looking forward to getting a new plot. And Digwell says a nightmare as for Jenny on that as well. Saw the Dibber in Digwell's video. Love it. And Rebecca says, thank you, Richard. You are most welcome. I'm looking. Hopefully, one day I'm going to come up and actually see everybody's gardens and allotments in person. As we go on through this year, now we're getting to the spring. I feel it is time to start organising that as well. That's something else we're going to discuss. So we'll go through all that next week. Now, talking of next week, so this next week is going to be a slightly different subject. Please do send any pictures and photos or videos in as normal. But next week's subject, this week I've got a media event I'm attending to, and I'm hoping to get some footage of some new items that people are going to be probably seeing in the magazines over these coming weeks. And I'm going to pick out some of my favorites and see what you guys think on that as well. So that's what we're going to be doing next week. So no real planning ahead for you guys, but of course, any videos or anything you can send in is always welcome to help things along and give me a break sometimes. Yes, you are welcome anytime, Richard. Thank you. We will be up to yours, Rebecca, at the best we can. I wish I had time for a plot as well as my garden, along with gardening at school. My time is very short. I wish I had time for my garden, my plot, and less time for work is my answer to that. I'm in that frame. I don't know if anybody else has found this. 2 years ago when COVID hit, I was furloughed for about at least 3 months, I think it was, maybe 4. Spent so much more time in my garden that to me, it was more what I want to do with my life, spending time in my own garden. Now, not so easy to do, of course, especially when you got bills to pay and things like that. So we're trying to find a way that I can do that. Not so easy, but I know what you mean, Stuart. There's just not enough hours in the day for that. Got a double and a single in a spare room so you can decide sleeping arrangements. Thank you very much, Ian. Thank you very much. We're definitely going to come up and see you, Ian, because you've been down to us twice now. We've got to come and see you. I totally agree, Richard. Work gets in the way of my garden. I know. I think there's the phrase gardening leave. I never know what it means, but I always think gardening leave sounds quite enticing, doesn't it? Ernie, Richard, have you ever thought of entertaining a few friends or fans for dinner using ingredients from your plot? You can film it and maybe pay for the privilege. That would be interesting. Yes, I have thought of doing it. In fact, Christmas, Mr. Vobes came over for Christmas dinner, as many of you will know, and he had some of pretty much all our veg was homegrown that day as well. So it does happen. I don't always video it, but I'm hoping to do a few. Now we're getting into where we can open things up, and our garden is becoming a bit more like we can entertain people. Having to do a few more barbecues with people around, and video things like that as well. Let's all take gardening leave. Indeed, let's all take gardening leave. Right, 5 minutes left to go. I'm going to put the link up if anybody does want to zap in for the last few minutes. Been a little bit quiet tonight, hasn't it? I don't know if there's something on this evening that's kept people busy. I know the evening has been lovely, so I suspect a lot of people are trying to keep out and about in their allotments and gardens. Don't blame them either. Like I said, so what have we got coming up on the podcast this week? On the podcast that's out tomorrow, I've got the usual diary sections, but I'm also discussing about the allotment security. What else are we going to be doing? I've got a video coming out this week. I didn't do one last week because I didn't have much to show, but a video coming out this week of my gardening diary, usual sort of thing. I think that sums up everything I do. Next week, as I said, a few features that from this media event I'm going to. I got distracted sewing. Sorry, I was like, no, it's fine. I don't don't expect everybody to be here, of course. It's I think when evenings have been as late as they are, it's very easy to forget or to get distracted. You're more than welcome to visit us, and I can take you to the Naked Garden in Malmesbury. I will come and visit you, Stuart, but I'm not sure about attending the Naked Garden. I wouldn't want to subject anybody to what I have to do with me naked anyway. Yeah. What are we going to be doing on the garden this week as well? My plans for this week. Next weekend, I want to go down the allotment and I want to build 3 new beds on the allotment. In fact, planning to go down there on Thursday because I've got a day off on Thursday to look after Roxy while we have builders in. So extra day gardening this week, as well as Wednesday, which is a day sort of gardening. It's garden related. So it's going to be a very intense gardening week, I think. But it's all going to be good fun. All going to be a lot of fun. Right. 3 minutes left to go. Just looking through the comments and seeing if there's anything I've missed or anything I haven't talked about. I think it's been good to see everybody's plots again. A lot of nice inspiration for everyone. I think whenever we see these, we always feel inspired to go and try and tidy things up, or just not so much compete, but give things a go. My plan this week is to get as much sown as possible, more tomatoes and cucumbers. That reminds me, I need to prick out lots of plants this week. Once the better weather arrives, I may miss a few shows. I want to be away in my camper van more. I understand that. Don't forget, you can still watch us on your mobile phone if you have roaming, of course. And so on and so on. I'm hoping to get out in the camper van more this year as well. I'm hoping when I'm out visiting people's allotments that we might be able to do a live show from other people's allotments as well, from the camper van, or my camper van that is, or others. You know, we got using this camera, it shows me it's definitely possible to do things like that. Ian Meadows, thanks for another great show. Richard, one quick question. Should I sow some lettuce in Veggie Pod before we go to Spain? Away a month, but pod will be watered by Carol next door. I would say yes. Do it just a day or two before you go away, Ian. That way, when you come back, they will be ready for you to harvest almost. Digwell, Stuart, I thought the Naked Garden had closed. I don't know. Showing your plot as an incentive to keep it tidy. That's a good idea, Turbo Stream. Provided kids don't come along and wreck it. That's all I'm going to say on that. Enjoyed the videos and photos tonight. Thank you. You are most welcome. Not just Green Fingers UK blog. Lovely to see you and thank you for joining us. All right. I'm going to start wrapping up. Like I said, we'll be back next Sunday with clips from this media event and your take on what I've seen. Should be a lot of fun. Hopefully next week we're not going to have any of the problems that we've had with our kids breaking into my allotment and causing damage. I'll let you know how that goes and what happens. Yeah, I think that sums it up. I really enjoyed the live stream, Richard. Thank you to everyone who shared videos and photos. Thank you, Idaho Garden Girl. And the new owners are staying. It will open in May, Digwell. And Hargrave Gas, enjoyed this evening. Thanks as always. You are most welcome. More importantly, thank you to everyone that has shared the video, shared their photos. And more importantly, thank you to everyone that has joined in and chatted as well. It is you guys that really make this show possible and make the show what it is. We will be back again next Sunday. Hopefully, we'll be out in the proper studio and in this proper shed. Although looking at the quality of this camera, I'm going to look at changing things up again. Anyway, that's a whole other debate. You take care, guys. We'll be back again once I've sorted everything up. We'll be back again. Is that it? Yep. Back again next week. Take care for now.